This is probably one of my first ones live this way on YouTube. Welcome to Coffee with Christelle, coffee time. And today actually it's a box. It's a box here. Let me turn off my. Okay. So it's a Rico original chicorée and coffee. So it is a boxed coffee that I'm having this morning. There you go. And it's in French. Actually, this one says La moustache porte le bonheur. So I guess if you drink and you have a moustache, it gives you bonheur. But the first one I took out was Souriez, buvez, ricorez. So I'm just doing advertisement for them, not truly. But this is just to let you know, coffee time. Join me, grab your coffee, as today I am going to share topic of the top 10 assets in the world in 2026. Sure you can see it. Top 10 assets in the world, make sure. So number one, real estate, 670,000 trillion, oil, gold, euro. I'm currently in the euro system. Copper, natural gas, Japanese yen, silver, Nvidia, Apple, top 10. But the number one, the ones that I'm going to share about is the real estate. And that's, of course, residential, commercial, but real estate. So how perfect that you know someone who can offer you and help you with real estate and you purchasing your property and getting the financing. So give me a moment, as I'm actually going to share also my screen with you to join me in calculation of your debt to income ratio, your credit, your assets, so your credit, your capacity, your collateral, and your cash. So those are the topics for today and Coffee with Christelle. So the first one, right? Most people will basically get scared of the idea of let's talk about credit. And why is that? Because here in America, number one thing is, what's your credit score? What is it that goes beyond credit is the body. The actual credit score is the actual body of the credit. Your debts. Are you maximizing your credit cards? Your past history, a bankruptcy, or foreclosure, your collections. So all those actually do have an impact on the credit. Now, I am not a credit expert in the sense of I'm going to help you fix your credit. I have simulations and ways to do that. So I can definitely help you in the process of identifying what can help in the credit improvement. There are computer generated systems. Even your chat GPT can help you with that now. Okay. Just entering information. Hey, this is my credit. What can be done? Now, I am not saying this is going to fix it because you still have to do the work. Also, as an energy practitioner, I'll tell you, energetically, having debts that you're just erasing, it kind of still lingers. How did you actually address your credit and your debt? So those are conversations that we can have one-on-one to go ahead and help you fix the pattern, the mindset that you have with credit. Okay, so credit is one, of course, of the aspects that we actually step into first when we review your application. What's your credit score? Honestly, minimum credit score is going to be usually 500. Not many lenders will actually look at your credit with a 500 credit score. Most lenders would go to 580. Many would go minimum of 620 or 640. But those are the extra layers that a lender would have on credit review based on what they have an appetite for. Okay. When I say minimum credit score is 500, it's because actually FHA, they don't have that minimum credit score that some lenders do have. So do I have access to those programs? Yes. Can you do down payment assistance with those? No. Would you need to provide more documentation than if you have a 580 or 640 credit score? Yes, because it's scrutinizing more the other aspect of the 4 Cs. So again, they have to credit your capacity. So you may have to have a very low debt to income ratio or a lot of reserve to be able to say, hey, with my lower credit score, I can qualify. But yes, there are ways to do so. Okay. So credit is the story, but it's not the score. Let's start with the people fear the most, which is that credit, as I mentioned. And credit is not about being perfect. It's about showing a pattern of responsibility over time. Lenders look at behavior, not just numbers. So you've had a bankruptcy, but you've reestablished credit. You can still finance. There is, of course, a timeline of when you have to wait for FHA, how much time, as well as foreclosures. For FHA and conventional, they have different timelines. So to know more, of course, book a call with me. And if you're in that situation, I will help you. I will guide you. And then if you're currently embedded with debt that you can't afford, you're upside down basically, and you're like, I have to file bankruptcy, but I won't be able to buy a house. But that's not true. You will need to have a conversation with me to find out how much time do I have to wait? How long do I have to wait in order for me to be able to qualify in the future? Because right now I'm stuck. I got to go and file for bankruptcy. I'm not advocating for one of them. I'm just letting you know it is not the end. It might be just a new beginning. And what do you need to do after the bankruptcy is go ahead and reestablishing credit. So no matter where you are right now with your credit, we can have a conversation and you have to do the work. You have to first change your mindset. Maybe something happened and you had to go ahead and go through this process. But what do I need to do differently? The other patterns, it's like um, I've had some, you yourself tell yourself, well, I've had um, no credit. I haven't established credit. A lot of foreign nationals or people who are new to America, they don't actually want to get debts. Unfortunately, yes, there are programs, but it's more limiting. So I will potentially guide you into, well, can you qualify right now with what we call alternative credit? Are you paying rent to an individual? Do you have documentation? You don't want to do that cash. All that actually counts as credit established. It's alternative, but we can verify if you use money orders, if you use Zelle, and we have a pattern for 12 months. So those who do not have credit, there are options. They are more limited, might be a little bit more costly up front for you to get the loan, but there are options. So no credit, bad credit, good credit, excellent credit. We all have an opportunity to look at the credit, where we are, what happened, and what can be done going forward. So wherever you're in the process, definitely reach out to me. So credit is one. And the next one that I want to go ahead and share is the debt to income ratio. Okay, so I'm going to actually open my whiteboard. Let's do a new whiteboard actually. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and talk about, oops, debt to income ratio. This is where we're going to take your income. So we're going to first go into an income for someone who's salaried. If you're salaried, you know that your income is $10,000 a month. Okay, we'll take your monthly income. I meant to have this be a dollar sign, $10,000 a month. We'll find out how much it is month. We know it's $10,000 a month. We'll take what's called a ratio. So it's a percentage of your income. We're going to multiply that by, we're going to just use 45%. Sometimes some programs you can actually go with higher, like 56% debt to income ratio, but we have a front, we have a back. So we're not going to into all those details. So just going to, when I do a initial qualification in general, oops, I'll put it away. Okay. So we'll go ahead and take your calculator. You'll take your actual monthly income. We'll multiply by 45%, and that gives me 4,500. Okay. From the 4,500, I will deduct what the monthly payments of monthly debts are. So let's say you have a car note, and the car note is 650. And then you have personal loan. And that personal loan is 150 and so on so forth. Now, there are some debts that you may have and you say, well, I don't pay anything on it, like student loans. So your student loans, you think, well, I don't have to count those. Well, it depends. We may have to count it depending on the program. So this is where you definitely book a call with me so we can go into that scenario. 650 plus 150, we'll to add your debts and we'll go ahead and put the total here. And what we're going to do is take your 4,500 minus your 800, which gives us, of course, you can see I'm using calculator because I want you to take the time, use your calculator, $3,700. Now, that is potentially how much your maximum mortgage, including taxes, insurance, and HOA would be, 3,700. But you say, well, Christelle, you didn't count the diaper for the kids. You didn't count the daycare. You didn't count all the things. Well, that's part of your budget. That's different. So you have your qualification for mortgage, and then you also have your own budget that you get to calculate. Now, that 3,700 is where we will take that into consideration as potentially your maximum pre-approval, or you can tell me, I don't want to go over, let's say, $3,000, and then we'll work it backwards and look at your actual mortgage payment. So I'm going to open another tab because now you know what your actual mortgage is for your qualification. Okay, I'm going to move that away. And I unfortunately closed out all of my tabs and now having to reopen them. So let's see. I'm going to stop sharing that part. This is my first time using the whiteboard, so it's kind of confusing me when I am looking for, okay, here we go. So we're going to go to Sacred Home with Christelle. Okay. On my page, you will see a free tool. That free tool here, mortgage calculator. So Christelle told me I can qualify for about $3,700, but I don't want to go over 3,000. So we're going to go ahead and do, so I'm thinking it's a $500,000 home, and I'm going to do a 3.5% down. Okay. And Christelle told me we're just going to do a mortgage rate. We're just going to say 6%. And I have this property that I already see is $500,000. And I see on the website that the taxes are $5,200 a year. Okay, because I'm putting 3.5%, I am going to have mortgage insurance, but I forgot to ask Christelle what that mortgage insurance. So I reached out to Christelle, go back and check, or in my loan estimate, and we decided it's going to be FHA. So we're going to go ahead and do 0.50%, 0.5. And then your homeowner's insurance, Christelle told me in a conversation to basically use about 2,500, but I know that may or may not be accurate, so I'll make adjustments. We're just trying to get a feel for where I'm at. And then I'm buying a house that has no HOA, so I'm going to keep it at 0. So you can see, Christelle told me 3,700, so that's about my maximum, but I don't want to go that high. I said 3,000. So I'm just going to play with the numbers so you could do it this way. But of course, we'll have this conversation, you and I, but I want you to know that there are tools that you can access to play with the numbers. And yes, I did say play. The taxes are probably going to be, let's say, $4,000. Insurance, we're going to keep it the same. Oh, got it. So I need to buy a home that is going to be about 400,000 to keep my payment at $3,000 or less. Okay, so you can access my mortgage calculator and get a feel for what that payment is going to look like and what it translates as far as the home purchase, putting 3.5%. And sometimes clients say, well, Christelle, what if I were to put a little bit more? Like if I put 5%, you can tell the difference of how much your payment is going to be. Okay, remember, it's when you put about 20% down that you have no PMI, so that will save you here. Again, this is a calculator that is available to you so you can do your calculation. So we went into credit, capacity, your debt to income ratio. For some reason, I just kept on going without taking a sip so I can take a break, so you can take a breather. We went through this calculator, so I am trusting this information makes sense. We do your debt to income ratio calculation. We also look at your credit, but then your capacity. Yeah, that's what I just did, Christelle. That coffee is not heating yet, not a capacity. Your cash. How much money do you have and how much money do you need? There are so many sources of cash that you can have. Definitely not cash on hand. If you have cash on hand, we're going to have to go ahead and deposit that money in the bank. So, remove this here because I am seeing a reflection of myself. Okay. All right. So when it comes to cash, you can use your retirement. So you reach out to your company, your institution, and find out how much can I access? What 10 penalties would I have? All of the details. So you'll have that money as down payment. So your cash is one. With retirement, with saving. Also, in having a conversation with the lender like myself, you get to find out, what do I need to go ahead and have available? Do I need reserve? Because Christelle, by the way, my credit score is lower than maybe the 580, and you mentioned there might be a program. So what would I need to do? What would I need to show as reserve? Your retirement could be money, savings could be a gift. So this is where you go into depth in conversation before you start looking at home, so you know where you are. Now, I am not advocating to have low credit score. I'm just letting you know you have options. So somebody who is buying FHA with a 640 credit score, even a 580, very often would not necessarily need to reserve. You need just your down payment and your closing costs and your taxes and your insurance. Now, you're an investor and you want to go ahead and purchase a home. You usually will need to have 15 to 20% down, because as an investor, the risk is greater for us. So now we need to more money down. Okay. Some programs, believe it or not, can actually do with having the money, you had it at home and you deposit it, and we just need about 30 days of your bank statement. Go ahead and deposit your money. Let's make sure you have your money in the bank. Or if you're getting a gift, how are we documenting it? So this is where you have a conversation. Say, Christelle, I want to buy a house. I may need down payment assistance, or I have access to this money. How do I document? Okay, so that's your funds available. Again, we're talking about you accessing money, your debt, your credit, to be able to buy into this number one asset, real estate. So you might be a first-time buyer, and your first step may be to go ahead and buy your first home, down payment assistance, gift from a family member, parents who are helping you in the process of buying your home. Now, you're a mover buyer. You say, Christelle, I have equity in my home. I bought at a time where value has improved and I have equity. How much can I access from the equity in my home so I can again access real estate and invest into more real estate? Or you say, well, I did the first one, real estate, but now I want to invest in the stock market. I want to invest in oil, in gold, whatever the investments you want to make. And you have spoken with your financial advisor, and maybe accessing the equity in your home may be a good move, or maybe not. So that's where you get to have a conversation with me as well as your financial advisor. Accessing the equity in your home can allow you to purchase your next property. I have clients who are actually doing that by buying fix and flips. They are buying your property, they're fixing it, putting it back on the market, selling it. And now what I'm advising them to do is keep realizing the money, putting it into an account, so that at some point you don't necessarily need your line of credit. You're using cash that you've made from the sale of that fix and flip. There are different ways to go about it because it depends on how much money you make from that fix and flip. And yes, I do have programs to help you with those, even when you're a first time investor. Okay, so recently, I think it was back in October, closed a deal for, she bought her home, she's owned the house, and now she bought a property. She's doing a fix and flip, use a line of credit, and the property is going back on the market. So that's one way of doing real estate. There are people who actually want to go ahead and buy more real, keep the current property because the interest rate is low. on that property. Keep it as a rental so the cash flow is amazing. Moving to the new home, family got bigger, or they just want to go ahead and keep buying real estate as owner occupied for 1 year at least, stay in the property, moving to the next one. Yes, the interest rate may be a little bit higher. The property sales price may be a little bit higher as well, but your income has increased and you can actually qualify. You can actually invest into this property. And when the rates improve, you can go ahead and refinance, get a lower interest rate, keep this property as your investment property. There are different ways to go about it. Of course, you definitely want to be compliant, occupancy when you're doing your financing, as well as the intent as you keep on moving. And there are people who are buying also multifamily. I actually just spoke with a partner of mine, friend Joe, who has an a builder who's going to be able to go ahead and do a custom build, but it's not those big custom build projects that you think in 500,000. Actually, their goal is $300,000 and lower, so we can help those who are having affordability issue and purchase their home that way by doing a construction build. So if you have questions on that, let me know. I'll connect you with Joe. So, all right, so I'm talked about the mover buyer, you investors. So you have also those who are interested in buying multifamily to hold or a property to hold and rent. Do Airbnb, do multifamily long-term rental. Multifamily, let me describe also, be specific, real estate investment, 4 units or less. That's going to be your traditional residential financing. We can do what's called a DSCR question about that. Just message me. I will explain the DSCR program. And then you also have those who are wanting to buy more than 4 units. And now it goes into more of a commercial. I can help you with that. I actually using this particular page next to lending because I want you to see in lending, we don't just do the mortgage for residential 4 units or less. I can also help you with commercial fix and flips to all your projects, bring them to me. So top 10 assets in the world, real estate. And for some reason, that is actually one that people are actually not investing in. They're just keeping the money in cash or they go ahead and keep that money to buy the next personal great purse. That's not a real investment. I mean, you could be a collector, but keep your money for 2026 to invest in real estate, in the right projects for you. What is the right project? It depends on your situation, it depends on your goal. So that's where we have a conversation with someone like myself who speak and thinks about your possibilities, the ways that you can actually invest based on where you are or get you ready for that project. I spoke with Marcus yesterday. Marcus is not ready yet. He's working on it. So I can have conversations based on where you are and what your goals are. It's really the topics I wanted to share. Oh, let's talk about the fourth C. Collateral. Which property do you invest in? Is it a condo? Is it a townhome? Is it a multifamily? So we're going to stick with just about the residential right now. Residential meaning 4 units or less. A condo can be sometimes more challenging to qualify for even if the price is lower because condos have to be approved. The property has specific requirements, mostly in Florida. A lot of times in Florida, people need to have 20 to 25% to put down when they're buying a condo because they may not have the right budget, the right amount of investors. When I say the right, to fit into the guideline for Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac and even FHA. So a lot of times, unless you have your cash rich, and you're able to buy this property with 20-25% down, you may want to move into a townhouse that is not set up as a condo or a house that is a detached property. So book a call with me. Let's go over your questions about all those 4 C's: your credit, the capacity, the collateral, and your cash. Let's do the numbers. Let's see where you stand and where you're looking to be. Perfect time. We're still in January, still have plenty of time to invest and be ready, right? Getting you ready for that goal. And if you are ready, don't freeze and say, well, while the rate's going to get better, do I need to wait? Because the rates fluctuate. When the market says that it improves on our end, when it says it improved as far as, oh, the Fed lowered the interest rate. But guess what? Sometimes if we actually get a worsening on the rates, that may not be the rate that got worse, but the price of it, getting that interest rate may be better or worse. So all those play into how we see the fluctuation, the volatility of our market. But I'll tell you, we've had some great improvements. We are seeing rates in the low sixes. Some people are closing with the fives. So definitely have a conversation. Let's see how we structure this. Even if you are looking to get down payment assistance, I invite you to save money, do your budget, see where you need to save so you can have money available in case you need to negotiate for when you negotiate, the seller is not paying as much of the closing costs that you would like. But again, you might hear there are less properties on the market, which means the sellers who are on the market right now are open for negotiation more than they may when more people are on the market. So now is the time. Now is the time for that conversation. Now is the time to talk about your goal and how we can make it work in this current market. So that's my update for you today on top assets in the world in 2026. Will you be the one to own real estate either as your primary, as your investment property, as your second home? Second home is when you occupy this property at least 10 days out of the year. So you tell me, are you going to be owning some of those trillions? A part of those trillion? So I look forward to creating some more content specific to those topics that I just shared regarding real estate. Share this information, book a call, let your friends and family know that I'm here to help them. I'm here to align you, to help you align with your goals so we can achieve it. Now, this is my quick talk on that was about 20 minutes, share on top aspects of ways of where the money is going to be, the assets and real estate being one. And this is where I invite you to either stay on as I go into my, as you can see, the alchemist, Kristel, who is stepping into allowing God, divinity, to guide the next part of this life. So if this gets a little bit uncomfortable, feel free to jump off. If you like to stay longer, stay longer. Join me as I keep discovering and awakening in myself the truth of who I am, or I actually have a new analogy. I've been saying the onion that is peeling and getting to the core. But I have realized, I think it was last week and this week, that onion, you know, when you go to an American restaurant and they have fried onion, they actually take the onion, they cut it at the core, and it does like an open flower. But the stem, the root of it still stays connected. So that flower that opens, that onion, Christelle, me as the onion that opens, this the leaves, we'll call it, because I'm comparing it to a flower, they may start to open and leave space for the core to really blossom and come out. But I'm still connecting to all of my experiences. Some no longer serve, so they start to fall off. So when you cut that onion at its core, some pieces may fall off and they probably just don't belong to me anymore. And other parts of it still stays connected. But the essence, the one in the middle, is the one that I want to keep on shining through by still honoring all parts of me. And yes, I am using social media as a way, as a platform for communication, because my core message or purpose in life is to inspire. Not inspire with my travels, but inspire you to be your authentic self. And it is not an overnight. It could be, but it might feel like an overnight, but very often it's the journey of becoming, the journey of being and reflecting in the mirror who we truly are and allowing that to come through. I am definitely an introspector. I'm not saying everybody has to be one, and everybody's journey looks different. So my invitation is go ahead and close your eyes, deep breath in, And grounding yourself. That basically means we're going in, silencing the noise. But I'm hearing your voice, Christelle. Well, the noises that come about, well, am I going to stay on this call or not? I have to actually get on this next call. Taking all of those and put it aside and say, I'll come back to you because I am dedicating the few minutes here on this live to allow myself in this energy and this frequency with Christelle to see what comes up for myself. Not what Christelle tells me, but what in this exchange, in this moment, in this infinity weave, in this moment, what might be coming up? What is Christelle marrying about myself? This is not about Christelle. It's the energy that she brings forth. So as I'm grounding myself and going into my heart, connecting with Mother Earth, saying thank you, thank you, thank you. There are different ways to go about this. I'm just following how it's coming to me right now. Connecting, grounding your gravity further than just where you know your feet are touching the ground, going at the center of the earth, connecting and anchoring and saying thank you, because manifestation is only possible when we're connecting to this earth, not just to the higher planes, it's also the earth. Thank you, Mother Earth. You're providing us with the fruits, the vegetables, with the food that we get to eat. As a metaphor, also our daily bread. Would we get to do with our work to have that exchange of giving, being of service in our work is as much authenticity, truth, and reflected back as a payment, as an income, as an exchange. So thank you. And thank you for just loving us for who we are without having to do the performance and the work that we are seeing needed in this 3D, in this plane of everyday reality that is our own. Because what I experience as my reality may be different to you listening to me as what's real to you. So bringing that energy back in gratitude of being nurtured by Mother Earth and bringing back into our heart and allowing it to go all the way over our heads. It's kind of an image, like a tube and connecting to the heavens. Some start with the heavens, some start with the heart. We went into the heart, bring to Mother Earth, go into the heavens. I was in Mount Shasta where it basically says heaven on earth, connecting heaven and earth. So I'm connecting so we can be into the essence of all parts, our physical body, fed with the breath, our etherical body, our energy body, our mind, all parts of self, and honoring who we are. So my invitation, as you wake up every day and you place your feet on the ground, to this quick connection of thank you and gratitude. Who shall I be today? And I actually have one for myself today that I will feel like I should go ahead and share. If I were free, if I were already free, how would I show up in this conversation? That was actually my affirmation for this morning. And this is what came through. Is to be free in sharing what I'm sharing with you right now, unscripted. And when I say unscripted, I didn't really say this is what I'm going to talk about, just allow myself to be in the present. Yes, I did this work this morning that I'm sharing of my affirmation. Yes, I'll do something in the future once I hang this up, but really every moment is the right now, is the now. So if I were already free, how would I show up in this conversation? If I were already free, how would I show up in my conversation with you speaking about your real estate investment? If you were already free, how would you invest in real estate? How would you be? This is a little bit different what's coming up right now too. It's relationship with others. If I were already safe, how would this relationship be? So it's not if this person made me feel safe, if I already feel safe, if I'm already free. Because it starts where first? Right here. With ourselves. And the reason this information actually came through for me this morning is I'm making my prospect calls, right? So I'm reaching out to realtors, to past clients. And some people, I know they are high producers, and I say, well, what do I actually tell them? And the affirmation was first, if I were already free, how would I show up in this conversation? And this conversation wouldn't be about them being top producers or high producers. It would be about, is there a match? Is there an energy for us to exchange what I bring to the table as me, Christelle, with all of my journey, my experience, but really who I am? Is there a match? And if there is a match, then we get to work, an opportunity to work together. And that match is also an opportunity for me to rise at a point where they can rise. And it's not about just always going up and up, but it's really rise into the opportunity. And that opportunity looks different for each one of us. If I were free, how would I show up on our life? If I were free, how would I show up on my job? If I were already free, how would my day unfold? So if freedom is one of your intention in life, could take that if I were free. And allow yourself to be in the imaginary, in the possibility, and allowing the higher realm. When I say higher realm, love, the universe, God, all of those will guide you throughout the day to align to, I am free. It may not quite feel that way right now, but if you tell your subconscious and allow your subconscious to believe that you are already free, then life unfolds differently. I invite you to try it out and let me know what comes up. And you might say, Christelle, you are crazy because that is not making any sense to me. But you got nothing to lose but everything to gain, and a possibility that yes, something can come up for you, can show up for you. And that is your journey. And it's yours to keep going through. And say, well, maybe not freedom. For me, it might be safety. For me, it might be if I already love because something is blocking love. So whatever that block is in your intention of being, that's what I invite you to step into. No pressure, no rush, just a day by day. So that's what I have for you today, as I'm going to actually pick this one from my coffee, was souriez. So smile. Allow the day to bring you blessings. Trust and believe you are worthy of receiving blessings. And I am blessed to have an opportunity, as all of you, to use social media, to use whatever it is that allows you to speak your truth. And maybe it's not about speaking your truth. Maybe you're not here to be a communicator. I feel like that's one of my roles. Step into your role. If you're not sure what role or what you're supposed to do, you can do introspection, you can do meditation, you can meet coaches who are experts in allowing that to come, and take one day at a time while you're doing your work, while you're in relationship with your kids, with your husband, with your spouse, whatever that is. Because the most important person, really, and it is not from ego, the most important person is you, because how you show up reflects in the rest of your relationships, how the world experiences you, but also how you experience yourself. In the end, it's love. and love of self. Love of self, not from the ego aspect, but love of self so that it can be reflected back. Not with an expectation that the person reflects love back to you, to us, but that as I'm giving, the universe bring back tenfold, being a cause and effect. Don't just be at the effect, be also the cause of love, cause of peace, cause of freedom, freedom of expression, freedom to experience life as a journey that you design. Okay. I will leave you with that affirmation again. If I were already free, how would I? Dot, dot, dot. Until next time.